Chapter 19. 10 Words in Context. In the space provided, write the letter of the meaning closest to that of each bold-faced word. Use the context of the sentences to help you figure out each word's meaning. Chide. My parents chided me for getting sunburned, but my blistered skin hurt a lot more than their scolding. Elsie was right to chide me when I lazily threw the newspapers into the trash instead of stacking and tying them for recycling. Chide means to criticize, not to commend or not to be cruel to. Coalition. 4 colleges formed a coalition to operate a shared center of higher education. A coalition of 1 sheriff, 2 horse thieves, 3 stagecoach robbers, and a couple of crooked gamblers once made up the government of Virginia City. Coalition means a partnership, not one part of a whole and not a neighborhood. Commensurate. Most students who work hard will eventually see results commensurate with their efforts. The expression "make the punishment fit the crime" means that a penalty should be commensurate with the degree of wrongdoing. Commensurate with means consistent with, not essential to, not delayed by. Connotation. For many of us the word sea has a connotation of salty air and vast openness. Sayonara, the Japanese word for goodbye, actually means "if it must be so," and thus has connotations of sadness at parting. Connotations means a suggested meaning, not a handicap or not warning. Diabolic. In the musical Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street, the barber is indeed diabolic. He kills his clients by cutting their throats so that his friend Mrs. Lovett can make the victims into meat pies. The horror story featured open graves, walking corpses, and a diabolic villain who turned an entire townful of people into zombies. Diabolic means devilish, not lazy, not frightened. Dilapidated. The dilapidated house must have once been handsome. Some of its broken windows are stained glass, and the loose door hinges are fine metal work. His teddy bear is dilapidated, with its ear hanging by threads and the stuffing coming out, but the little boy won't let go of it long enough for anyone to repair it. Dilapidated means run down, not out of proportion, not strongly desired. Integral. Arguing seems to be an integral part of Laura and Nate's relationship. If they weren't fighting, they'd have nothing to say to each other. Voting is integral to democracy. Without free elections, a democratic system cannot continue to exist. Integral means essential, not very small, not predicted. Noxious. When you are cleaning, never mix ammonia and bleach. The noxious gas they produce could land you in the hospital. The entire office building had to be evacuated when noxious fumes started coming out of the air vents, and dozens of workers got sick. Noxious means unhealthy, not potential, not impossible. Scenario. I've worked out an overall scenario for the movie, the screenwriter said, but I haven't gone beyond the basic plot. To help governments and industry plan for the future Experts sometimes develop scenarios describing what might happen in the next year or decades. Scenario means an outline of possible events, not a budget, not an actual occurrence. Yen. Whenever I have an yen for a cigarette, I chew on a pencil instead. My yen for garlic bagel chips doesn't go away even after I've eaten a whole bagful. Yen means a longing, not a feeling of disapproval, not a memory. Matching words with definitions. Following are definitions of the 10 words. Clearly write or print each word next to its definition. The sentences above and on the previous page will help you decide on the meaning of each word. Noxious means harmful to life or health, poisonous. Scenario means a sequence of events that is imagined, assumed, or suggested. Diabolic means very cruel, wicked, demonic. Chide means to scold mildly or express disapproval. Yen means a strong desire, craving. Integral means necessary to the whole, belonging to the whole. Coalition means a union of individuals, groups, or nations for some specific purpose. Commensurate means corresponding in degree, number, or size, in proportion. Connotation means a secondary meaning suggested by a word, in addition to the word's dictionary definition. Dilapidated means fallen into a state in which repairs are badly needed, broken down. Caution. Do not go any further until you are sure the above answers are correct. Then you can use the definitions to help you in the following practices. Your goal is eventually to know the words well enough so that you don't need to check the definitions at all. Sentence check 1. Using the answer line provided, complete each item below with the correct word from the box. Use each word once. Chide, coalition, commensurate, connotation, diabolic, dilapidated, integral, noxious, scenario, and yen. The doctor chided Rick for not allowing her advice about switching to a low-fat diet. One Chinese emperor was so sick to have people educated that his officials always said their last goodbyes when they were summoned to the presence of their diabolic ruler. We may argue about whether character or plot is more important, but they are both integral to any novel. The New York Telephone Directory lists hundreds of different coalitions, including action groups for Korean American voters, fairness to Africa, and a smoke-free city. Often, to satisfy a yen, I eat something sweet only to find that the sweetness has produced an equally strong craving for something salty. I wish I could give you a grade commensurate with the excellence of your paper, the teacher said. Unfortunately, there is no such grade as A++. Dictionaries usually don't give the connotations of words. These associated meanings become familiar to us only through experience. My parents always know when my friend Theo has been here, because his dilapidated old car, which has a leaky radiator, leaves a puddle of water in the driveway. Cigarettes aren't bad only for smokers. Secondhand smoke is also noxious and can be harmful to everyone nearby. I had thought up several scenarios of how my widowed mother might marry again, but I never would have predicted that what actually happened. She married my widowed father-in-law. Note: now, check your answers to see these questions by turning to page 178. Going over the answers carefully will help you prepare for the next two practices for which answers are not given. Sentence check 2. Using the answer lines provided, complete each item below with two words from the box. Use each word once. When red M&Ms were discontinued, angry consumers chided the company and formed a coalition for the restoration and preservation for red M&Ms. The company hastily reinstated the red pieces. The developers who endangered the local water supply by dumping noxious wastes in the landfill did not get a punishment that was commensurate with their reprehensible act. They had to pay only a small fine. A dark, dilapidated old house in our neighborhood scares local children, who feel that the quiet, unfriendly owner is some sort of diabolic villain. The TV writer was distraught. The producer told me to shorten the script by cutting the deathbed scene out of my scenario, but how can I? It's an integral part of the story. While the word yen can refer to a strong desire for anything, to many people it has the specific connotation of a sharp longing for a particular. Final check. Halloween troubles. Here is a final opportunity for you to strengthen your knowledge of the 10 words. First, read the following selection carefully. Then fill in each blank with a word from the box at top of the previous page. Context clues will help you figure out which word goes in which blank. Use each word once. Discomfort was such an integral part of my childhood Halloweens that I wouldn't have recognized the holiday without it. In retrospect, I think I must have been a masochist. As a Dutch girl, I limped from door to door in crippling wooden shoes. As a vampire with sharp fangs, I cut my lower lip every time I had said trick or treat. Even today, the word Halloween carries for me connotations of physical misery. My scenario for the perfect Halloween encompassed not only scaring others but also frightening myself. So, I was willing to approach even the most scary-looking houses, once sure to be haunted or to belong to diabolic witches waiting to boil children for dinner. Generally, such houses were dilapidated with cracked windows, creaking steps, and loose shutters banging in the wind. Even scarier than those places, however, were the coalitions of high school students. At any moment these gangs might corner me and demand your candy or alive. I might die if I refused to relinquish my baby Ruth's Hershey's Kisses and 3 Musketeers. My candy haul was always disappointing, never commensurate with the acts suffered on my rounds. As soon as I returned home, my parents ordered me to throw out all unwrapped candy, since it might contain some substance, even poison. But of course, I had built up a powerful and indiscriminate yen for candy, any candy at all.
So I would set out for the loot that remained, and be chided, forget it. Enter scores above and in the vocabulary chart on the inside back of the book. Chapter 28. Words in context. In this provided, write the letter of the meaning close to that of each bold-faced word. The context of the sentences to help you figure each word's meaning. One nightclub comedian derides of the audience, poking fun at clothing and mannerism. Says he knows it's just part of went on a diet after several classmates him by calling him Lardupi. Deride means to mock, not to not to argue with. Derogatory. Lorenzo's derogatory remark about he called her an air had him to get fired. Karasim makes derogatory about Karim behind his back. He is vain, sloppy, and lazy. He never said such things to. Derogatory means complimentary, not mistakable. Fabricate. Supermarket often fabricates ridiculous stories. Boy is born wearing green. When she handed in her plate, Diana told a story that her computer had crashed. The truth is that she did computer. Fabricate means event, not to avoid proof. Impending. He never studies until an exam is impending. If it starts sooner, he wouldn't have so hard. Because his impending move, the office man, I'm not ordering any sub till next month. When will be impending? Not apparent, not important. Macabre. Edgar Allan Poe's story of Usher is macabre, in which someone is buried alive. He opened with a macabre of bodies lying in drawers. Macabre means refusing, not mocking. Conchita would, but when she told him she was busy, he misconstrued her meaning, interested in him. Construe. Robert Frost on says make good neighbors. They think it's Ian, but the line is spoken by a character. Misconstrued on the ignore. Red lick or wind. Good traction is important, so always be sure your top condition. Paramount must have chosen to suggest fear to Paramount mainstream, not successful. Bonita was in a quandary. She couldn't return to school, take a job, had been to Alaska with her family. Karen in a quandary over finance baffled the problem of making a budget, handling and paying taxes. Confusion.
poster. Owen's told tends to be whenever Miss Warner gets up and those things. Turbulent dates. Many people the of smoking. The claim is has been validated by many to confirm slightly disturbed. Macabre means suggestive of death and decay, frightful, causing horror and disgust. Quandary means a state of uncertainty or confusion about what to do. Predicament. Derogatory means expressing a low opinion, belittling. Validate means to show to be true, proof. Misconstrue means to misinterpret, misunderstand the meaning or significance of. Deride means to make fun of. Fabricate means to make up a story, information in order to deceive, invent a lie. Impending means about to happen, imminent. Paramount means of greatest concern or importance. Foremost, chief in rank or authority. Caution. Do not go any further until you are sure the above answers are correct. Then you can use the definition to help you in the following practices. Your goal is eventually to know the words well enough so that you don't need to check the definitions at all. Sentence check 1. Using the answer line provided. Complete each item below with the correct word from the box. Use each word once. Deride, derogatory, fabricate, impending, macabre, misconstrue, paramount, quandary, turbulent, validate. Mel has an macabre hobby. He visits places where murders were committed. We had skipped dinner in order to get the play on time, so throughout the performance, food, not drama, was paramount in our thoughts. Just before I was fired, I had a sense of impending disaster. I could tell that something bad was about to happen. Delia, misconstrued, mingles friendliness as romantic interest. She didn't realize that he already had a girlfriend. When my friend said her teacher was different, I wasn't sure if she meant the description to be complimentary or derogatory. Juan didn't show up for the final exam because he hadn't studied, but he fabricated a story about having a flat tire. In the psychology class, the students had an interesting team assignment. They had to make some statement about human nature and then validate it by finding supporting evidence. Ivan is in a quandary over his car. He doesn't know whether to get his old car the major repairs it desperately needs, take out a loan and buy his dream car, or spend the money he has on another used car he doesn't like. The sun may seem to be shining calmly and steadily, but in fact, nuclear reactions inside the sun are causing a seething mass of turbulent flames. A critic once derided a book he disliked by saying, "This is not a novel to be tossed aside lightly. It should be thrown with great force." Note. Now check your answers to these questions by turning to page 179. Going over the answers carefully will help you prepare for the next two practices for which answers are not given. Sentence check 2. Using the answer lines provided, complete each item below with two words from the box. Use each word once. Many surfers prefer turbulent water to more uniform waves. Their paramount goal is excitement, and they get a feeling of exhilaration from confronting a dangerous situation. I was in a quandary over whether to study, practice the piano, or go to a movie with my friend Sal. To complicate things further, Sal wanted to see a macabre horror film, and I dislike anything gruesome. When the evidence does not validate their theories, scrupulous researchers will report his honesty, but less conscientious researchers will flout scientific ethics and fabricate fake results to appear to prove their theories. With the trial impending, the defense lawyer tried to forestall negative news stories by asking for a gag order. The lawyer argued that if derogatory stories about his client's character were published, the trial would be a travesty of justice. When Craig called Peggy the perfect secretary, she was offended. He was complimenting her, but she misconstrued his comment, thinking he had derided her by saying she belonged in a subordinate position. Final check. Rumors. Here is a final opportunity for you to strengthen your knowledge of the 10 words. First, read the following selection carefully. Then fill in each blank with a word from the box at the top of the page. Context clues will help you figure out which word goes in which blank. Use each word once. Did you hear that Kmart sold sweaters with baby snakes inside? The story, of course, was untrue, but it was not easy to squelch. How do such rumors get started? Sometimes they are fabricated. In the case of the Kmart rumor, the story was actually fraudulent. Someone had deliberately made it up and disseminated it to discredit the store. Often, though, a rumor starts with an innocent misinterpretation. For instance, when a magazine article drew an analogy between a worm farm turning out bait and McDonald's turning out hamburgers, some readers misconstrued this to mean that McDonald's was grinding up worms in its burgers, and the preposterous story spread. Rumors about individuals can start when someone makes an derogatory statement or derides someone else out of rancor or jealousy. Joyce got an A because she's dating Professor X. Or L isn't in class today, he left town because he knew his arrest for being a peeping Tom was impending. Even an innuendo, something that's merely hinted at, can start a rumor. Joyce and Professor X are really quite discreet, aren't they? No story is too gruesome to make the rounds, not even the macabre tale of the girl whose beehive hairdo housed a black widow spider, which eventually burrowed into her brain and killed her. Once a rumor gets started,
People who hear it are sometimes in a quandary, even if there is nothing to corroborate the rumor. They may be afraid to ignore it. And so, there is a proliferation of rumors, spreading fear, damaging reputations, and turning calm situations into turbulent ones. To stop or forestall rumors, one thing is probably of paramount importance. Before accepting any story, be sure the facts validate it. Enter your scores above and in the vocabulary performance chart on the inside back cover of the book.